The episode began with a cheerful introduction as Danny DeVito was welcomed onto The View, greeted with roaring applause and the usual banter among the co-hosts. Danny, known for his humor and larger-than-life personality, came in with his trademark grin, cracking a joke the moment he sat down. At first, everything seemed lighthearted. Whoopi Goldberg welcomed him warmly, and Sarah N. asked him about his recent voiceover work, to which he responded with some funny behind-the-scenes stories. But things took a turn when Joy Behar shifted the conversation from career updates to politics. "Danny, you've been pretty outspoken politically in the past," she began, eyeing him closely. "You've tweeted some fiery stuff, ever think you go too far?" Danny's smile faltered slightly, but he remained composed. "I speak my mind," he replied. "Care about people, especially working-class folks. I say what I feel, not to stir controversy, but because things need to be," said DTOA. Nodded, but quickly followed with a sharper comment that seemed to strike a nerve. Joy leaned forward, raising her eyebrows. "But don't you think you alienate people when you call political opponents names on social media?" she asked. "I mean, some of your tweets pretty harsh, don't you think?" Danny paused, adjusted his glasses, and replied, "When I see people in power doing harmful things, I call it out. That's not alienating, it's accountability." The crowd clapped, but Joy pressed on. "Some would say you're just another Hollywood elite shouting from a mansion," she said, almost playfully, but the undertone was pointed. Danny's demeanor changed slightly. "I've been working since I was a teenager," he said. "My background isn't privileged. I never forgot where I came from." Whoopi tried to steer the conversation back to his latest movie, but Joy continued. "Still, don't you think celebrities should cool it with political rants? People tune in for entertainment, not lectures." Danny chuckled, but with no warmth. "Funny, I thought free speech was still a thing, or is it only okay when it fits your narrative?" The atmosphere in the studio started to shift. The audience grew quieter, sensing the escalating tension.
Nice.
Danny's voice grew more forceful. "I'm not some out-of-touch star throwing opinions around for fun," he said. "I speak from a place of conviction. People don't like that, they can scroll past." Joy countered. "But when you say things like certain leaders are clowns or criminals, doesn't that just inflame division?" Danny didn't hesitate. "If someone acts like a clown and governs like a crook, I'll say it. It's not division, that's honesty." The crowd gave a mixed reaction, some clapping, others murmuring. Ana Navarro tried to mediate, suggesting that the role of public figures is to bridge gaps, but Danny was in no mood to backpedal. "I didn't come here to be lectured about manners," he said, glancing at Joy, "especially by someone who's made a career out of dishing it out." Joy raised her chin and shot back, "Well, if you can't take the heat, maybe don't throw fire." Danny's eyes narrowed. "I've been in this business a long time, Joy," he said, "and I've seen people use civility as a shield." "For saying nothing," Joy scoffed. "Or maybe you've mistaken shouting for passion." Danny leaned forward. "And maybe you've mistaken provocation for journalism." That line drew audible gasps from the audience. Whoopi quickly suggested moving to a lighter topic, but Joy wasn't done. "So you're saying we shouldn't challenge guests on their public behavior?" she asked. Danny shook his head. "Challenge is fine. But when it turns into bad faith poking and smug moralizing, it's not a challenge, it's a trap." Joy replied, "Sounds like you're uncomfortable with a little pushback." Danny shot back, "Not uncomfortable, just unimpressed." The tension between the two was now undeniable. Even Sarah, usually upbeat, sat silently as the verbal volley continued. Joy turned to the audience and said, "Well, everyone has their version of the truth, don't they?" To which Danny responded, and some just twist it for applause lines. The discomfort in the studio was palpable. "Oh." A few audience members exchanged awkward glances, unsure whether to laugh, clap, or remain silent. Danny looked increasingly irritated. "You brought me here to talk about my work," he said. "Right. But instead, I'm being grilled like I committed a crime." Joy crossed her arms. "Right. We talk about the full picture here, not just fluff," she said. "You knew what show you were coming on." Danny stood up slowly, visibly fuming. "I thought I did," he said. "But this isn't a conversation, it's a setup." Whoopi again tried to step in, raising her hands and saying, "Let's cool it down, all right? How this is getting out of hand." Danny shook his head. "No, I'm done. I'm not going to sit here and be the latest piñata in your outrage game." Joy muttered, "Oh, please," under her breath, but it was loud enough to be picked up by the mic. Danny heard it. "Exactly that attitude," he snapped. "That smugness is why people stop listening to shows like this." As Danny turned to leave, there was a stunned silence in the studio. Cameras kept rolling, but producers backstage were scrambling. Joy, still seated, said with an exaggerated sigh, "Well, I guess we hit a nerve." Danny, halfway to the exit, stopped and turned around. "You didn't hit a nerve, you hit the wall of my patience," he said. "I can laugh at myself. I can take criticism, but I won't stick around for condescension disguised as commentary." Whoopi stood up, clearly distressed by the situation. "Danny, come on, let's talk off camera, okay?" It was done. "No offense, Whoopi. I respect you, but I won't be part of something that feels more like a trap than a talk show." He left the set, and the audience, still in disbelief, erupted into a mix of applause and confusion. The camera quickly cut to commercial, and when the show returned, the energy had noticeably shifted. Joy tried to play it off with humor, but the laughter was thin. It was clear this wasn't just a minor flare-up. After the show, social media lit up like wildfire. Clips of the heated exchange went viral within the hour, and hashtags like Danny walks off and DeVito VSBA shot to the top of trending lists. Fans of Danny praised him for standing his ground, calling him a real one and a legend who won't be bullied. Others criticized Joy for being unnecessarily antagonistic, accusing her of turning every interview into a confrontation. Meanwhile, Joy's defenders claimed Danny overreacted and couldn't handle tough questions. Split reaction only fueled more debate. News outlets picked up the story quickly, turning it into the lead headline of entertainment segments. TMZ, Variety, and even major cable networks ran segments dissecting the blow-up, analyzing body language, tone, and timing. Some anchors suggested the producers of The View knew this might happen and let it unfold for ratings. The speculation only added fuel to the already raging fire of public discourse. Later that evening, Danny took to his social media account too. Issue a short but pointed message. "I came to have a discussion, not to be dissected. Respect isn't optional. I walked away because I had to." The post was met with widespread support, including retweets from other celebrities who echoed similar experiences on talk shows. Joy, however, remained silent on her accounts. While The View released an official statement, "We value open dialogue and respect all our guests. Sometimes conversations get passionate. That's part of what makes live TV dynamic." But fans weren't buying the canned response. Comment sections were flooded with messages calling for an apology or some kind of on-air acknowledgement. In the next episode, Whoopi addressed the incident gently, saying, "Sometimes things don't go how we plan. We wish Danny the best." Joy didn't say much, simply nodding. But viewers noticed her unusually subdued tone during that episode. It was clear the blowback had made an impact. Over the next few days, interviews and think pieces poured in. Media analysts debated whether talk shows like The View have crossed the line between journalism and spectacle. Some suggested that the format encourages conflict over conversation, especially when provocative topics are raised with little room for nuance. Others defended the show, arguing that strong opinions come with the territory and that public figures should be prepared to defend theirs. Amid this, Danny received invites from several late-night hosts to tell his side of the story, but he declined most of them. In a brief phone interview with a podcast, he stated, "I'm not interested in keeping the drama alive. Got better things to do." Fans appreciated his maturity, and support continued to grow. Even some critics of his political views admitted they respected how he handled himself. Meanwhile, The View saw a spike in ratings, proving once again that controversy isn't uncomfortable. Unscripted moments drives viewership. In the end, the incident with Danny DeVito became a larger conversation about civility, boundaries, and the purpose of public dialogue. For many, it was a moment that revealed the tension between celebrity culture and the modern media machine. Danny returned to work, focusing on his next project without further comment. Joy eventually resumed her usual tone, though with noticeably more caution when engaging with guests. The View carried on, but the memory of that heated exchange remained, etched in the minds of viewers. It was more than just a viral clip, became symbolic of a deeper cultural divide, where entertainment, activism, and personal identity collide on live television. Danny's walk-off wasn't just a protest. It was a statement that even the most seasoned entertainers have a line they won't let others cross. And in a world hungry for authenticity, that kind of unfiltered response